kill you. Damon, call her. Call her or I will kill you. Damon was waving a knife and had a crazed look on his face. Riley responded, I'm not helping you find my sister, you crazy asshole. Riley, don't antagonize him, shouted her mom. Mom, he isn't stupid enough to do anything, replied Riley. Get the hell out of here, Riley demanded. Raina and Riley's mother Judith cried and said, Please, Damon, just leave. Raina isn't the one for you. Please just let her go. At the moment, Damon looked like his eyes were on fire. He lunged at Riley and sunk the knife deep into her chest. Judith screamed as Riley's body slumped to the floor, her eyes becoming lifeless. Damon shouted, Call her now, or you are dead too. Judith held her daughter's lifeless body and cried, I'll never help you take both my daughters from me, Judith said as tears poured down her face. At that moment, the phone rang. The caller ID said Raina. Damon grabbed the phone and said, Raina, I have been trying to reach you. He was speaking eerily calmly. Raina replied, Damon, I told you we are through. I'm tired of your controlling behavior and I won't be with anyone who abuses me. He laughed and said, Oh, Raina, I will never let you go. I've killed your bitch sister, and if you don't get here now, your mom will be dead too. Raina replied, What? What are you saying? He switched to a video call and showed her mother holding her sister covered in blood and crying. Raina screamed, Mom, Riley. Damon shouted, Get here now. And then he hung up. Raina called the police and rushed to her house. The 911 operator told her to stage down the street and not to enter the house. Raina cried, I can't, or he will kill my mom. I have to go in. The 911 operator responded calmly, Ma'am, the police are 5 minutes out and we will get a hostage negotiator. Please stay away from the crime scene and stay on the line. With tears running down Raina's cheeks, she sped down the street towards her home. She jumped out of the car and ran inside. Damon stood there grinning at her. I've missed you, my love, he said in an evil voice. Raina responded, Damon, you are crazy. The police are on their way. Put down the knife. Damon shouted, You called the police, you bitch! He grabbed her mom and slit her throat. Blood poured from her mother's wound. Raina screamed and ran for the door. Damon charged after her, and just as she ran out of the house towards the police cars that were rushing in, she felt a pain in her back. The next second, she heard a gunshot, and everything went dark. Raina woke to sounds of hospital equipment, bright lights, and the smell of disinfectant. Her throat felt raw, and her mind was in a haze. Where was she? A plump nurse was standing next to her bed and said, Miss Peters, you're awake. Are you experiencing any pain? Raina looked towards the nurse and tried to speak. A croak came out and the nurse asked if she wanted some ice chips. Raina nodded. The nurse calmly responded, You just woke up from surgery. If you can handle the ice chips, we will get you some water or Sprite in a little while. What happened? Said Raina. The nurse looked hesitant, then asked, Do you remember anything that happened at your home? The police want to take a report when you're up for it. All of a sudden, images flooded back to Raina. The bloody scene, the crazed look in Damon's eyes, and the pain of watching him kill her mother right in front of her. Oh my God, this is all my fault, Rana sobbed. Tears flowed, and Raina cried, My mom, my sister. The nurse said, I'll get the doctor, and rushed out of the room. As the nurse rushed out, the waiting police rushed forward. Sheriff Bush gruffly asked, Is she awake? The nurse nodded and said, Please wait for the doctor to clear her to speak with you. The sheriff huffed and pushed his way on into the hospital room where Raina lay crying. The sheriff said, Miss Peters, so sorry for your loss. Raina glanced up through her tears. His tone didn't sound like he was sorry. In fact, he sounded put out. The sheriff said, We need to get your statement. Raina asked, Is Damon in custody? The sheriff, looking aggrieved, said, He also just got out of surgery. One of my officers shot him in the shoulder. He is in another hospital. I'm sure this is just a misunderstanding. Damon comes from a good family. Exasperated, Raina shouted, A misunderstanding? He killed my sister and mother and tried to kill me. The sheriff sneered and said, Had you not provoked him while he was off his meds, this wouldn't have happened. Raina just stared at the sheriff with a shocked look on her face. The nurse and doctor had come in and heard the end of the conversation and looked shocked. Get out, the sheriff demanded. I'm taking an official statement, the doctor said. Sheriff, I haven't cleared the patient to speak with you yet. The sheriff sneered and said, Are you going to interfere with a police investigation? The doctor blanched and stepped back, then stood tall and said, I must insist. She just came out of surgery. Give me 10 minutes. Then if she's up to it, you can speak to her. The sheriff glared, then waltzed out of the room. The doctor looked at her with sympathy and said, Miss Peters, how are you feeling? Raina responded, My back hurts and my legs feel numb. The doctor responded, We will get you something for the pain. The doctor did a full exam, checking her legs and asking if she had sensation in them. He finally said, Well, the good news is the spinal cord was not severed. It was damaged, though. You may never walk again. The good news is, since the cord wasn't severed once the swelling goes down, you might be able to walk again with a crutch. We can send you to rehab in another week. We will need to monitor you for blood clots for the next week. Raina, overwhelmed, simply responded, Thank you, doctor. The doctor hesitated for a moment, then said, Do you feel up to speaking to the sheriff? Raina had no desire to have a conversation with the sheriff. He was a power-hungry, rude man who operated his county on the good old boy system. If you were buddies with him, you could get away with anything. And if you didn't pay homage to him and the other people in charge, you would be targeted or simply put off. Raina took a deep breath, then said, I suppose I should get it over with. The doctor went out of the room just as Prosecutor Davis walked into the ward, followed by the state police. Sheriff Bush looked up and shouted, What the hell are they doing here? Nina Davis, in her stylish power suit, 4-inch heels, and perfectly manicured nails, glared at the sheriff and replied, Sheriff Bush, this is a high-profile case, and I figured it would be better to get the state police involved with this case. The sheriff, fuming and red-faced, spit out, You had no right to do that. Nina, unperturbed, responded, I had every right, as the prosecutor, to utilize any resources available. Veins bulging in the sheriff's head, he spouted, I'll remember this when you are up for re-election. Nina chuckled. Well, I have a year and a half before I have to worry about that. After the state police got a report of the incident, they left the prosecutor with Raina. Nina said, Miss Peters, my name is Nina Davis. I'm the prosecutor that will be handling the case. Raina responded, Please, call me Raina. Nina replied, Of course, and you can call me Nina or Miss Davis. I will try my best to make sure the court denies bail to Mr. Fremont. Currently, the state police are guarding him at the hospital across town. His family is pushing to get him sent into a mental facility, so we will see what the judge decides. I will do my best to keep him locked up as long as possible pending trial. Raina replied, Thank you, Miss Davis. Nina smiled and said, If you need anything, here is my cell number. Miss Davis, do you know if my mom survived? Raina asked hesitantly. Nina looked at Raina with pity and said, I'm so sorry there was nothing the doctors could do to save her or your sister, and I am so sorry to inform you that when your grandmother heard the news, she had a massive heart attack and passed away also. Could anything more happen to Raina? In one day, she had lost everyone that meant anything to her. Silent tears flowed down Raina's face. Raina cried, It's all my fault. My entire family is gone because I dated the wrong guy. Nina firmly said, No, it was not your fault. It was Damon Fremont's fault alone. Do not blame yourself. I'm going to let you get some rest. I'll keep you updated weekly on the case, or sooner if anything major comes up. Raina sniffled. Thank you, Miss Davis. Raina was awoken by a light rap on the door of her hospital room. Come in, Raina called. In walked Mimi Fremont, Damon's mother. Mrs. Fremont, I don't think you should be here. Mimi, in a dignified voice, replied, Dear girl, I'm just here to make sure you are okay. It is only right for me to check on you, what with all that happened. I'm just worried about you. Raina responded, You're worried about me or Damon? Can't I be worried about you both? Replied Mimi. Raina angrily replied, Cut the crap and tell me why you are really here. I know you never liked me or approved of my relationship with Damon. Mimi replied, My son cared a lot for you, and his love drove him to do this awful thing. But you know he is so sorry. He cares for you. You can't ruin his life for this mistake. He is a good boy, replied Mimi. Raina shouted, Mistake? Mistake? Killing 2 people and trying to kill the person you say you love isn't a mistake. It's murder. Mimi huffed. Don't take that tone with me, young lady. How much will it take to make this all go away? I'm prepared to offer you $5 million for your pain and suffering. That should be enough for you to have someone care for you and to cover your medical bills. What do you say? Raina stared open-mouthed at Mimi. Mrs. Fremont, this isn't a simple domestic assault like the others that you can just pay to make go away for Damon. This is murder. You owe me compensation, but that is regardless of what happens to Damon. Now get the hell out of my room and don't come back or I will report you to the police. Mrs. Fremont said, I hope you won't make things too difficult for yourself. If my son goes to prison, I will make sure you are miserable too. Raina shouted, Screw you, Mrs. Fremont. I am miserable already. I'm a cripple, and my entire family is gone. Money won't give me any of that back. Now get out. At that point, a nurse hearing the yelling came in. Raina, is everything okay? Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You're upsetting the patient. Mimi replied, Fine, I'll go, but just remember what I told you. 5 months later. The nurses lined up to say goodbye to Raina as she walked towards the door of the rehab facility. Raina, we hate to see you go, but we are so glad you will be walking out of here on your own, said one nurse. Raina had her belongings packed and was waiting for Miss Davis to pick her up. Nina walked in a few minutes later. I'm sorry I'm late, said Nina. Mr. Fremont's lawyer and his uncle, who is a senator, found out you were being released today somehow and pushed for his release on bail awaiting trial. The judge had refused to consider it while you were still hospitalized, but now that you are being released, he has agreed to allow him out with an ankle monitor on house arrest. Raina was shocked. An ankle monitor? Said Raina. That won't stop him. What do I do, Nina? He will come for me, I just know it. Nina replied, I am checking with the state police to see if I can get you into witness protection. But with his family ties to the police and government, I'm worried about your safety. Wait, I might have another option. Let me step out to make a call. Sleepy Harbor Grocery Store, how can I help you? Came a middle-aged woman's voice. Nina replied, Aunt Patricia? Is that you? Patricia responded, Nina, it has been too long. What are you up to, girl, and how is your mother? Nina said, Mom is good, keeping busy with my brother's kids and harassing me about when I'm going to settle down. Do you still have those rental properties? Patricia replied, Yes, of course, dear. Do you want to relocate here or just come for a visit? Nina replied, Oh, no, Aunt Patricia, it's not for me. I have a witness that will need to testify in a case that will not be up for trial for another 4 months. She needs somewhere it lie low. Patricia replied, Do you need me to get Noah involved? Nina replied, I don't think so, this is just a precaution. How is his security business going? Patricia responded, It is going quite well. He has hired 10 more of his battle buddies since they retired from the army. Will you need his protection for your witness? Nina said, No, I don't have the funds, but if something comes up, it's good to know he is close. Replied, Of course, dear, and I'll get one of the cottages ready for your witness. Nina said, Her name is Raina. If you have a place with no stairs, it would be best. She walks with a crutch after the attack that killed the rest of her family. Patricia replied, "Oh my, the poor woman. Don't worry about anything. I have a little bungalow that will be just right for her." Nina replied, "Thank you so much, Auntie. Talk to you soon." Nina rushed back into the building. "Okay, Reina, it's all settled. I'm going to take you to the airport. I have a prepaid Visa card that cannot be tracked to you. I purchased 5 different cards with the funds paid over from Mrs. Fremont for damages. The rest is in a savings account. Don't access it in case they can trace it, unless you have need, but the cards should get you by. I'm sending you to my aunt's cottage in Florida. She has a grocery store and will deliver your groceries. I'll bring you back a few days before the trial begins." Reina was relieved she didn't have to think about where to stay right now. "Thank you so much, Nina. I couldn't have got through this far without you." Nina smiled and said, "Just keep yourself safe." Reina nodded and gathered her meager belongings and left the rehab facility. The